How's it going, everyone? This is Jade Witness here again. Today I'm giving you my first entry into the FANVERSE series that I talked about in my last video. Today we're going to be talking about Supreme Leader Snoke and his origin story, and how I would have handled his backstory in my FANVERSE series. In the current canon, Snoke was a Strandcast, a genetically engineered artificial being, intended to be used as a puppet for Emperor Palpatine in his cloning project Necromancer. While we now know that Snoke was just a puppet for Palpatine through a mixture of Sith alchemy and cloning, many fans originally speculated that Snoke was someone else, maybe a completely new and original character entirely. When the sequels were still being made and put out, we were being given some hints about Snoke's backstory. We were told that he was old enough to witness the rise and fall of the Empire, and that he loves luxury and wealth. Along with this, he's a powerful dark side user. And these are the elements I'm going to be focusing on and emphasizing for today's FANVERSE episode. So here we go. Abraius Snoke was a member of the near-extinct Mamoni species, and an individual with strong aptitude for the dark side of the Force. A few hundred years before the Battle of Yavin, the Mamoni were technologically proficient and advanced species of engineers and industrialists based on the world of Koroto. The world was highly developed, but eventually began to suffer an ecological crisis due to overharvesting of the planet's resources. To counter this, the ruling monarchy commissioned an expedition to colonize the planet Meshibo and a neighboring star system. Many of the planet's leading industrialists and their families jumped at the opportunity to monopolize this new planet's resources, including members of the Snoke dynasty. Meshibo was a mostly barren and mountainous planet, save for a few swampy wetlands where most of the settlements were established, while industrial zones were established by Mamoni elites. The Snoke family in particular had a natural prowess with the dark side of the Force, and thanks to careful maneuvering, Gladius Snoke, grandfather of Supreme Leader Snoke, managed to carve out a successful mining and refinery operation on Meshibo. But as the Meshibo colony became firmly established, the situation on their homeworld Koroto had deteriorated. The resource crisis had reached its climax, and political unrest and civil war soon followed. To make matters worse, a cataclysmic meteor shower had destroyed much of the civilization on Koroto. What few refugees survived had to migrate to the Meshibo colony. In the aftermath of this event, the leading industrial families on Meshibo were left with the responsibility of creating a new successor state. Rather than re-establishing their homeworld's monarchy, they chose instead to create the Interstellar Magnate, a hyper-plutocratic corporatocracy ruled by the heads of businesses and industry. By the time of the Clone Wars, Omen Snoke, the father of the Supreme Leader Abraius Snoke, managed to secure a sizable political influence for his family, becoming one of the Magnate's leading oligarchs. As one of the few oligarchs in charge of running the Magnate, he had to endure the power struggle with other oligarchs and also ward off separatist and republic influences seeking to gain access to the planet's resources, an effort that Omen was successful at while raising his son Abraius. Eventually, Omen Snoke was assassinated in a hit job ordered by a rival oligarch, leading a young Abraius Snoke to step up as the next oligarch and head of the Snoke dynasty. Snoke began a ruthless effort to eliminate his rivals and become the Magnate's sole leader. By tapping into his family's heritage in the dark side of the Force, and by careful political maneuvering, he was successful in taking over all of the Magnate's industries and settlements. Seeing the rise of the Empire as a threat, he quickly began consolidating his power and sent scavengers and scouts back to their homeworld Koroto, and in the unknown regions to loot and gather resources, as well as find any artifacts and arcane lore related to the dark side of the Force. But as Snoke began to grow and develop his power in the dark side, his presence in the Force was eventually noticed by Emperor Palpatine himself. Curious about this strong dark side anomaly, Emperor Palpatine journeyed out to meet Snoke himself. Upon meeting, Palpatine was impressed by Snoke and respected his strategic ruthlessness and power in the dark side. Rather than fighting, they quickly bonded over their shared interest in the dark side of the Force and respected each other. And Palpatine even saw a resemblance in Snoke to certain figures like Darth Tenebris and Darth Plagueis. All the same, Palpatine gave Snoke an ultimatum to surrender his planet to the Empire, along with the dark side artifacts and lore he had looted, in exchange for keeping his life and a sizable share in the planet's wealth. Though Snoke had grown strong in the Force, he realized that he was no match for Palpatine and the Empire, and he reluctantly agreed. Later on during the Galactic Civil War, Meshibo became a notable industrial outpost for the Empire, and soon a target for the Rebel Alliance. During a Rebel bombing raid on the outpost, Snoke was greatly wounded and received his signature scars and deformities in the attack. He was thought to be dead, but managed to cling to life, holding on to the dark side of the Force with his hatred. His subordinates moved him back to his homeworld of Kuroto, where he and a small Imperial unit waited out the end of the war in hiding. After the fall of the Empire, Snoke dedicated his time to journeying through the unknown regions, collecting dark side lore and growing stronger in the Force. Eventually, he was rediscovered and contacted by leading officers of the Imperial Remnant's Shadow Council and offered a position as their leader. He gladly accepted this chance to regain power and help reorganize the Imperial holdouts into the First Order as the new Supreme Leader. That's all for this episode of FANVERSE. I hope you all enjoyed it. Feel free to comment down below and tell me your thoughts. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys around.